All right. I'm glad to be doing this. It's been a while, so welcome. Welcome back for me, for you. Happy Sunday. This is a Pranayama masterclass, which really means developing greater functionality of your breath and greater awareness of it, and making your breath your ally in healing, in peace. I noticed that a lot of you in your registration for this class placed in the little field, what do you wish to gain from this? Peace and relief from stress. So that was kind of a really beautiful overarching theme to see that a lot of people are coming to this practice with. And I think that's one of the primary benefits that pranayama offers. And in my experience, it creates a little more space in the body to experience the many flavors of life with that resource of stillness and grounding in yourself. So I hope that the techniques that I'll share with you today can be resources for you in moments of destabilization, or even just your daily practice to create that reservoir of energy and self connection, source connection. So I'm inviting you here to get comfortable. You can sit upright or lay down, whatever feels like calling to you right now. If you've had a long week, or just rest is a big part of your schedule these days, then lay down if you'd like. And receive support. You can close the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Maybe gaze on a pleasing image in your environment, something that is beautiful to behold for you. So the breath is like our direct line to the nervous system. And the nervous system is this wonderful network that connects the body, the mind, the subtle body, all the organs, and communicates the speed of sound, the speed of light. So first making contact with the body, just feeling what is present in the lower body. And perhaps moving into any spaces of tension with a deeper breath, allowing your belly to soften as you receive space in the lower back. And then beginning to move your awareness into the torso, feeling what is present there. In between the ribs, on the front part of the body, the back body, the neck. Begin to move your awareness into the upper chest, face, and head. Almost like you're creating all these parts of yourself with your mind's eye. The invitation for our session today is contact and connection. And this is the bridge to intuition, to honoring that knowing within you as you connect to your body, deep wisdom, and stay connected to it. You'll know it's speaking. That speaking is intuition, knowing is guiding compass. And in the space of your body, receive a full exhale, receiving that emptiness. So just push all the breath out and bring a big inhale, filling up the belly, lungs, and chest. And then exhale completely again. The nose or the mouth, whatever feels really empowering for you for these first few rounds of breath. You might experiment transitioning between breathing through the nose and breathing through the mouth. Just having an experience, full presence with your breath. Full presence with how that space in your body is received by breath. Breath is received in the body. Is there room for breath for welcome? Or is it crowded by thoughts and attachment? We can begin to see the breath not as air, but as an intelligent living being, a facet of source, of the universe, of the divine, as a personality. It has different qualities depending on our needs and our physical state of being. Breath is sort of responsive and intelligent being, adaptogenetic. Use phrasing. It responds to our intentions. So in the space of connection to your body, I'm going to go into a space of intention. I know a lot of you have set that intention, but being present with today, right? Maybe your intention when you signed up was one thing, and today it could be completely different. And honor that moment. Before we set an intention, I invite you to gather all the parts of you that may be strewn across space and time, and to breathe them into your body here and now. Okay, so we're going to exhale, start with that emptiness, and then receive a big breath into your belly, lungs, chest, pulling in all those parts of you, reclaiming them, calling them back into you here and now. Exhale, settling into them. Do that a few times. Inhale, pulling all parts of you from space and time into this present moment here and now. Exhale, settling into that. Do that one more time. Reclaiming all the molecules that You are made of all the parts of the quantum. We can concentrate, right, all of our resources into this moment in this body. Sit with that for a moment, see what that feels like. If you need to continue reclaiming, always have that breath to pull and gather parts of like to be fully with yourself. So, a lot of our breath practice has to do with awareness and using our senses. So, in your space here, presence, what is aware in your heart? What is awake and wishing to be acknowledged? Lay the ground for that heart resonance, almost as if you were setting up an altar. Using your imagination, your subtle senses to feel that connection, that contact with the heart resonance, and that intention that you carry. And place that on the altar. Give that full space to be seen and worshipped in a way. Whatever's in the heart is present with this Paramatma, this aspect of the divine in our bodies. And so we might place the divine on an altar and everything that is an extension of the divine also. And yet, Krishna or the divine is never alone. There's always friends and uh, entourage. So I see those deep heart desires as extensions, placing those also on the altar. Perhaps your own body. We're going to start with a meditation on the elements, and this connects to, of course, the physical body, but also to qualities of the breath of prana. As I was saying, it is an intelligent force, and as a soul living in a body, we are made up of all the five elements. And so is the prana. The prana, the life force, the breath has elemental qualities. So we're going to start with the gross and move to the subtle. So I want you to envision here as you breathe in the ground of your body, like the earth. Right? Really feel the earth quality in your body with each breath, allowing the breath to sort of move into the spaces of heavy, of dense, uh, maybe moist, right? That are maybe moist. In the areas of your body that feel dense. And you let your breath move across those spaces. Maybe it's the hips or the legs, low belly. We haven't yet eliminated. There might be a sense of density or fullness there. To water. The water is also has a density to it, but it's more mobile. There's a flow, there is a sense of also dampness, coolness. Where is there movement in your body that is a little dense, a little damp, maybe also feeling the quality of emotion. So from the static heavy to the moving heavy, where joy could be the emotion of joy or the experience of it. Where in your body is there this flowing energy that is also grounded? Water can be easily absorbed and sort of uh, meshed with the element of earth, and therefore it takes on that grounding energy even further. Now, from this mobile heaviness, we're moving into mobile lightness to fire. So, from the cool damp, we're moving to the hot. Where is there heat? Breathing into these spaces of warmth in your body. That dance, fire, flames flicker and move and change. Very mobile, very light, dancing with the energy of the sun. That is constant, that is hot. So feeling where in the body this fire energy is bringing all these parts of our intelligence online. And the prana can then move in relationship to that intelligence because it has the intelligence in it. But if it's a little shut down in us, the prana tends to maybe not move in that way. How does fire feel in your day-to-day life? Is it present for you? Is it a little weak? Is the flame just barely alive? Or has it consumed you? We'll move into the air element in the body, very mobile. all movement. Very light, very dry. Where does that air feel particularly present for you in your body, in your experience of life? And with air, we tend to have little pockets, maybe little spaces that almost create their own little worlds until that air is moved. Notice how the air feels for you. Is it in pockets? Is it kind of like a breeze? Is it a big wind? As you breathe, let that air sort of circulate freely, not only in the body, but perhaps around the body. And moving into the final element of ether, the most subtle. And ether is space. It is the vast body in which all other bodies hang, float, transmigrate. It's kind of flowing through space. Where's space in your body? Experience? Where's there room for spaciousness? Spreading out. Or the container or the void in which we can rearrange the pieces of ourselves, of our dreams. And so allowing prana breath to create that container anew, shape and release dreams that take up space, move into new space. Without space, that sort of relationship would not be possible. That movement of one thing towards another to connect, to exchange. It's an extension of free will. Space creates the medium where we can meet with intention. Like that, we start to have an experience of the prana's intelligence, which is already part of you. You are already a very intelligent being. And now we're going to move into a little more of a sense meditation before we go into our first technique. And you may have already been doing this, which is great. These are some checkpoints that you want to hold in heart and mind, in body as you breathe, as you work with any practice, whatever that practice may be, because there's hundreds of different pranayama techniques. But these are sort of the anchors. So we want to listen. So take a few natural breaths here, however feels good for you, embodied breaths, and listen to the sound. Pay attention to the tone, the rhythm, speed, and tension. So is it harsh? Is it smooth? Somewhere in between? Tone, rhythm, speed, tension. So the nadis or the meridians, the pathways for life, for prana, are compared to reeds, little flutes, and their primary purpose is moving sound through. So the breath is a very subtle sound. Through sound, there manifests light, awareness, words. So knowing the sound of your breath transforms how the body's nervous system responds in a split second. And this, right? Our intelligent bodies are so quick, and they communicate before the mind even becomes aware of what happens. So if we can tune into the sound of the breath, that gives us a little information about where's the energy. Slow, smooth, free, flowing inhales and exhales communicate peace, ease. And vice versa, if you want to bring more peace and ease, we can start controlling the breath to become slow, deep, smooth. Space for that smooth, full inhale and exhale in the body. Nervous system responds. Oh, it's okay. We can let down our guard. This is a space of peace. And then we're going to visualize the breath. You see it entering you, filling up your lungs. Maybe there's a color to it, or a quality of light or tone of light. And then see it leaving the body, emptying from the lungs, flowing out the nostrils. And seeing that breath entering your body and leaving the body. And then a little more physically visualize your diaphragm, that little umbrella shaped muscle underneath the lungs above the stomach. See it moving down as you inhale, flattening out to the sides towards the belly, the pelvic bowl. And then as you exhale, it moves back up, becomes a little more umbrella shaped. Inhale, visualizing the diaphragm flattening down and out, creating more space in the lungs for breath. Exhale, it folds back up towards the lungs, emptying them out, pushing out any air from the bottom up. So like that, we start to use our muscles to aid the space in the body. And then we're going to move to feeling. So feel your breath through the rib cage. Feel how the rib cage expands, and how the rib cage then contracts as the breath moves out. We always want to breathe like this, right? Inhale, expanding, exhale, contracting. How is the intelligence of the breath contacting, connecting with the body, with your ribs, with the little muscles in between the ribs? Is there anything kind of caught up in that space, emotions, memories that the breath can touch, transform? And then we're going to feel the breath through the nostrils as it moves in, passes down your throat, comes into the lungs, and then back out, reversing from the lungs, throat, out through the nostrils. Just feeling that sort of light breeze. And then feel the temperature. Cool on the inhale, warm perhaps on the exhale. Awesome. All right. So now, as you have this sort of full bodied sensory experience, keep that in your back pocket as we move into our first technique. And you'll want to keep track, right? As a practice, let's say you sit in one meditation for 5 minutes. Notice how all these things may alter through those 5 minutes. And versus 11 minutes, how that can change at the beginning of your practice, through the middle, and through the end. So that can also be a good aid in alerting you, right? Some practices might be a little more difficult. So if you feel yourself straining, what is that telling you? What needs to be adjusted? As you become adjusted to the medicine that is in that technique, because it has an impact. There's no way that we don't become affected, right? Just like relationships, any contact we have with an element starts to affect us and change us. So we want to stay in this awareness of the sound of, am I still able to expand fully, or is there sort of tension in my body now? And through feeling the movement smooth, easeful. So this first practice is called 1 minute breath. If you are experiencing anxiety at all, this is the number one practice I recommend for anyone having symptoms of anxiety, which is really just an overabundance of the air element in the mind. So we're taking in a lot of information. So air and ether are extra activated in our day and age. And that can create an imbalance where the earth element isn't as present or as felt in your body. And the earth element helps to ground things, to integrate things. Fire element as well. Right? If there's too much wind, then the flame becomes sort of compromised, and it can't do its job to break things down. Right? So I take in all this information, and the transformation of the fire in my body isn't as powerful, and that's just like overtaking everything else. So anxiety starts to become the sort of symptom of that. So what do we do when anxiety is present? We want to slow things down, and we want to empower the sympathetic nervous system. You'd think you'd want to do parasympathetic, but actually in this case, it's sympathetic. So sympathetic means um, that our glandular system and all the organs are sort of up and ready to go. They're not resting. They're sort of online and in a state of equanimity, but not sleeping. Okay. Um, and what that does is it starts to activate the ability and the fire in the body. So the blood pressure goes up a little bit. We're going to be holding the breath in. We hold the breath in, sympathetic nervous system is activated. Okay, so we're going to do 5 minutes of 3-part 1-minute breath. And the effect of 1-minute breath is also in the time signature. Ideally, we're working towards 20 seconds on the inhale, 20 seconds to hold the breath, and 20 seconds to exhale. That is a challenge for most people, totally normal. We usually don't breathe that slowly. But when we do, that actually empowers the body and its healing mechanism in like the best way. When we take many, many breaths in the span of a minute, that tends to wear down our system and our organs. I would say, with the exception of something like a specific technique where like holotropic breath work, or you're doing breath of fire. Breath of fire, you're breathing a lot, right? So it's very rapid inhale exhales, but it's for a concentrated amount of time. And it's actually considered that it's like one breath. I don't know how the maths for that, but that's the pranayama math. So from what I've read and been taught. Okay, so 1-minute breath. You're going to do what you can and build from there. So don't stress out that you're not hitting a 20-second mark on your first few rounds. That's totally fine. And when we slow the breath down, that's when the intuition develops. So we're transferring our power away from the mind, and it's many, many like macerations and waves, as the Yoga Sutras would remind us. Vritti Nirodha. So we start to slow down those vritti, waves of the chitta, the consciousness. So Nirodha is like a space of almost sleeping, not total sleep, but like calming, becoming aware and meditative. So we're slowing that down through slowing down the breath. And when we slow down, we can hear not just with the quick reflexive notion of the brain, of the mind, but of the intelligence of the heart. It takes a little time to peek its head out if it feels like the space is clear and open and receptive for it. So that's what we're doing. All right. Comfortable seat if you're laying down still, or comfortable where your torso's not as upright. Come sitting up, support yourself on a cushion, and close your eyes. And then get your spine aligned. So draw your chin in towards your throat slightly so that thoracic and the cervical spine are ready to fully communicate the breath up and down. And then we'll begin with an exhale. So empty out all the breath. And begin nice full belly breath, counting your breath. Let's start with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now at the top of your inhale, hold your breath for 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. So this is our first round, right? You just felt that. I want to interject one little thing. When you hold the breath, really helpful to do so in the chest and the thoracic, so this middle torso area. So if we inhale and like feel it all up here in the throat and neck and shoulders, that's counterproductive. That's going to create tension and stress. So when we breathe in, you want to hold it here. Lift your chest, let it be full and sort of expressed outward versus the upper shoulders and neck. I'm going to keep these areas really just chill, smooth, easy. Okay. So with that, We'll go again and notice when you hold the breath in, you have the expansion of your belly. So this creates a foundation for this upper expansion, for the holding of the breath in the chest in a way that isn't straining your brain, because that could be a potential, mm, I would say, problem with pranayama is straining the brain, okay, or the upper body, the eyes, the throat. So we want to keep that all relaxed. All right, let's start again. Exhale. And then breathing in slowly, belly, lungs, and chest. Good. Holding the breath in the upper body, soft shoulders, throat, tongue. And then exhale through the nose, letting the shoulders, chest soften, almost drop in towards the center. And then again, expanding, inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 1. Good. Continuing, counting your inhale. Maybe you can breathe longer than 5. Whatever that count is, apply it to the hold and the exhale. As you exhale, you might hear the breath smooth. Exhale, notice that sound, right? Stay in touch with the sound. So listening, visualizing it, filling your lungs, thoracic diaphragm, moving down as you inhale, back up as you exhale. Your rib cage contracting, expanding, feeling it through the nostrils, through the throat. And as you interact with this specific practice, where is that intelligence taking root in your body, in your being, the subtle bodies as well? Mental body, your energetic body, emotional, wisdom body, soul body. So we're focusing on these seemingly different parts of listening, visualizing, feeling. Eventually, they all become this one big awareness. So you feel everything at once, without overreaching. Slowly letting that develop. Focus can only be on one thing, let that one thing become the ground for your awareness to get really anchored and focused. Feeling the pulse as you breathe. Pulse, especially when you're holding the breath, that pulse might become really tangible. Our last minute here. Notice how your inhales may become longer, expanding. No time limit, time and space. So your time increases as the space is slowing down how that space is filled. Taking back in, staying relaxed in the body. Finish up here in the last room. And when you finish your next exhale, let your breath relax back to a natural pace. Check in, notice how you feel. Come back into the room slowly, maybe opening the eyes. I'd love to hear how you're feeling. You can share in the chat the effects of that practice, any questions you might have. Welcome to unmute yourself as well if you'd rather just talk and not type. Really feeling very embodied. Even though the breath is so like air based, you'd think, right? Um, it is like a bridge for us to get back in our bodies, which is where all the, the wisdom is. I actually just saw a quote right before class. I think it was ascribed to Nietzsche, but that the body has more wisdom than any philosophy. And I was like, wow, that's so like 2024 somatic healing energy. Feeling grounded and good, Amy, or me feeling calmer and more expanded. Anita feeling calm, fresh, awake, fresh. I love that. Yeah. Calmer, grounded, open. Beautiful. Yeah. So this is this is the gift that you're giving to yourself, but then also everyone that you connect with, right? Like I feel like I'm realizing that that is actually the biggest uh, boon of my practice is that I become a walking space holder for others because it creates this groundedness, this openness, this um, ease in me whenever I enter, like you can imagine like bubbles, we all have our little energy bubbles, and then we meet someone and our energy bubbles overlap. And some of mine comes into theirs and some of theirs come into mine, right? And that's how we exchange energetically through the auric fields, through the magnetic field. So you doing all of this, just giving attention and awareness and connection, it impacts others. So it's not just a selfish thing or a self-focused thing. It really does impact the spaces that you enter, which sort of magically transfers wisdom between bodies. So that is one of the big gifts of these practices. It goes beyond um, time in them. Um, And I would love to share more of this with you. I have a pranayama immersion coming up in April, and it's 2 weekends and then a week. So basically, we'll be meeting on a Saturday and Sunday in April. I'll share the screen here real quick so you can see all the details in writing, because I know that's a lot easier for me. So I'm going to stop that. Where's the page? All right, here. So April 19th is our first day. It's a Friday, and we're just going to have a quick orientation for an hour and a half. And then we'll go into the weekend, the 11th to 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. And this is Eastern time. And then 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 on Sunday. And then we'll meet for a week in the evenings. And we're going to go into, like we just did today, experiencing different meditations, experiencing and developing the habit of creating this relationship with your breath, of entering into a meditative space of feeling and connection with the breath. And each evening during the weekdays, we're going to touch upon the different vayus. So the vayus, this is, and it's sort of a training, but it used to be a training, but I'm approaching it a lot different this time, whereas it's an immersion, an experience, a front row seat to that relationship with the intelligence of your breath. So it's a lot more embodied and dynamic, and we're going to sort of move a little bit as well and kind of bring some dance into it, because that's one of the best medicines that I've experienced. So we'll talk about the vayus, those like the winds of the breath, the intelligence through the elements, how your body can contain the breath in different ways through the bandhas, through the hands, how the breath affects the different channels of the nadis and the chakras, these like intelligent spaces that address specific needs and different facets of wisdom. And then why do we do that, right? What is the ultimate goal, the sadhya? You have your daily practice or a regular practice, which is a sadhana, and the sadhya is the context. Like, why are we doing that? Why even bother? Ultimately, like, what's the ultimate goal? Is it just to feel calm and peace? Or is there something bigger? Is there a bigger container? So I would love to share all of that with you and have time together in practice, and also to offer you a discount. Right now, there was a discount. So for all who are present today, I'd love to extend that discount. If you need more of a discount or you want to attend, but money is tight right now, feel free to message me, and I would love to work with you and see what we can do to facilitate you joining if you feel inspired to. So I'll send out an email with all that info. And yeah, I hope that you all can have an amazing day and come back to this practice. It's a great one to do in the morning or during the day. If you get grounded from it, do it before bed. It can be a little more activating because we do hold the breath. So be aware of that if you're going to practice before bed. And yeah, just would love to close out with an offering of gratitude to all of my teachers and this journey that the breath has taken me on with many of you in the mornings. If you want to join, we do a 20-minute practice every morning at 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. So I bow to you in gratitude. Hope you have an amazing Sunday.
Thank you, Alex.
Feel free to reach out and stay connected if you have questions.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, y'all. Lots of love.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. So good to see you.
See you, Amy.
Thank you, Alex.